Oh, yeah. You know what it is? It's Sunday, and today is one of those days where we get to finally sit down and continue working on a book, a sci fi book in this situation. And, what do they call it? Learn a little something. That's right. It is Sunday, and every Saturday and Sunday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we do a live video where, you're going to learn something. And this is a Write a Book with Me series from concept to conception. Conception to completion. And we are on episode 25, which, by the way, wow. Wow. We've been doing really well with this. Okay, so if you haven't been here before, basically, I'm a developmental editor and a writing teacher, and my name is Thomas J. Bellezza, and this is The Right Mindset, and we are going to ultimately go over. Let's get to it. We're gonna boop, boop. All right. So basically, what we do, we've been writing a book, and I've been showing you the behind the scenes and going through each step. We are on the zero draft of the chapters. Last week we got through chapter 7, but we had to break that chapter up because the zero draft is where we decide when and where to split up chapters. If we have to create a new scene, do we have to do a chapter break? Whether that's a hard chapter break or a soft chapter break, whatever the case is. Anyway, we realized that we needed to separate chapter 7 into 2 chapters, and because everything's sort of mapped out, I'm just calling it 7.2 for now. That's stuff we fix and correct later. Hey, what's up, Mr. Rowe? Thank you for joining us again. What are you, first again? I'm pretty impressed. Evening, elf flowers. Welcome. Thank you for coming. All right. My singing scared people away. Okay, so let's get into it. All right, the most important part to realize is that during the zero draft, it's not really about prose. So if you're just seeing this for the first time or just getting into the series and you're like, what is this? We are working on a zero. What is up, Afghani? Greetings. We're working on what I call the zero draft, which is where we're going to beat out the chapter and take the extended outline, which is what this is. So this is what extended outline looks like. And we're going to turn it into scenes, and we're going to start building on the chapters. But we're going to just continue to just kind of build on the plot points, which are these things. And we're going to create a rhythm and maybe some dialogue, but you don't always have to. We don't worry about pretty prose right now. That's your first draft. What we want to do is we want to make sure we understand what's going in each chapter, how each chapter connects, and is everything making sense? Or are we just plopping stuff down? We don't want to just plop stuff down, right? Hey M, hi T. I do hope the sort of boop boop shows up. The sort of boop boop is always there. It's funny. Oh. No soda today. I'm like dying of thirst, and I can't get rid of the feeling of thirst. I tried juices, but I'm allergic to some juices because, apples and strawberries and all that. I tried iced tea, but, whatever. Anyway, let's get into it. We're going to just jump right into it. Welcome, everybody. Welcome. Remember, if you have questions about what I am doing while I'm doing it, ask away. It's not going to distract me. I will happily do an aside and answer the question. If you have a question about your own writing, feel free to just ask away. It's all part of the fun. Yeah, apparently I did not earn enough experience points yesterday to get to level 2, so they knocked me down to level 1. Yeah, but isn't level... Well, no, level 1 is the best, right? Isn't that top? Right now, you're number 1. Afghani's number 4. Come on, Afghani. Come on, All right, let's get into it. So, we are going... I came to the conclusion I am a discovery writer, but I still need an outline. But in general, and often complete, I discover it as I go along. As a quick aside to that, I stand firmly by the position that outlining and or pantsing, so plotting or pantsing, are both discovery. For example, I catch up at the end. That's funny. For example, this outline, I did not know where it was going. So when I was working on the extended outline, I had to discover what ended up happening. I had to figure it out. The only difference is I'm not writing out long form prose to discover story. So I believe all narratives, all writers are both plotters and pantsers. The plotting is I have an idea. The plotting is, and it could be and by the way, being a plotter doesn't mean you have to have every single detail. But at the same time, while you're developing your narrative, you're saying to yourself, where do I want to start? Do I have a character in mind? All right, you know what? I have nothing. So I know I have to start somewhere, which is the beginning, which is ultimately outlining. You're saying, all right, I'm going to start at the beginning. Starting at the beginning with nothing is still having direction. And it goes the other way too. Even if I did have a complete direction before I even started writing or outlining, I would still have to figure out how it all works together. So the discovery process is all throughout the writing as we do. So, but you can call yourself a discovery writer. I'm just giving my personal opinion on the idea that all areas of writing are, in some form or another, discovery. That's a relief. No idea with mine either. See, yeah, I'm just saying. Hi, Hannah Hart. I love the picture. I love your picture. I saw the voting poll. I have all those encounters when I do my story world building. Well, you know, pick the one that you feel, you know, maybe gives you the most challenges, and we'll talk about that at the end of the hour. All right, let's get into it. So right now we are going to, and as I just said, we are going to discover where this chapter goes by using the outline that we discovered originally, and we're going to expand on things. Okay, so the first step is always to take the beats and play with the beats. All right, all right, so this is Laura. Olivia is dealing with having to hide herself a bit more and concerned on how she's not only going to do that, but also to now get the ship repaired. Okay. Okay. Bloop. Let's get some of these things in here. All right. So if Laura, Olivia, I'm going to add some movement and action. Okay. So Laura, move through the streets, covering her face, head down, and heads to her job. Okay. Oh wait. Wait a second. I think for continuity's sake, we have to assume it's getting late. It's nighttime. Yeah, okay. So, okay. That's right. Hello, Cindy. Welcome. It's late at night and way past curfew. Because we added that in chapter 7.1. Laura Olivia moved through the streets, hiding in alleyways, trying to slip past the authorities watching over the streets. There are authorities in vehicles, because we don't know if they're cars, vehicles, and on foot. Okay. All right, so we're setting the scene. Laura Olivia takes her time, and while moving through the city, she's thinking about everything she has to do, which is let me just put this here. Okay. Everything she has to do. Save up money for parts. repair and get home. Okay. So right now, as I'm working on this, if we just look at this as a straightforward, this this is what's nice about when you could see the outlines and like general broad outlines. This is mostly going to be her moving around and avoiding. So there is like a sense of tension, like will she, won't she get caught? But we're not leaning into it. I'm going to lean into it, but I'm just I'm working through the process out loud for you. And I got out the most important element of this movement, which is we have to set it up. There needs to be a conflict, which is maybe she almost gets caught or not. And then we have to resolve it. But the setup is going to be ultimately, what is she doing? She's moving around the city. It is past curfew. It is nighttime. What is the scene? Authority. So we're setting up the context. Well, she's dealing with that, she's having internal conflict, okay? And on its surface, that could be something, right? That could be engaging enough, but she would mostly be thinking, and it'd be pontificating and just maybe talking to herself and trying to hide, and that could be interesting. I'm a sucker for Shawshank Redemption. That's probably like my favorite film, right? So, and that film is, there's a lot of talking in that film, but there's also some action, some behavior, right? Okay. And then this is going to be the next beat, which is she does get through the streets, and we know she gets back to her job. She's not going to be working, though, because she just stays there. That's why she, Before I add more of an external challenge in the first beat, let me go over something very important. Now, originally, we did not have the curfew element. The curfew element was discovered while working on chapter 7.1, so the chapter before this, and we know that she's leaving the area. More importantly, these authorities in the cars and vehicles are not necessarily searching for her specifically. It's past curfew. The curfew exists because of the ship and the gangs and them looking for people, but at the same time, they're not necessarily looking for her specifically, but she is in a situation where she is outside the law for anybody within the city. Okay, but she has the extra added truth, which is she owns the ship and her name is attached to that ship, right? Okay, so originally we didn't have that element, and now I get to add that element. More importantly, we had she returned to her job and started working, but now that we know it's late after night, we can now change it. And that's the beauty of an outline and knowing that you can change it. Nothing is as is. So as you are working or discovering your narrative, you're allowed to adjust and change things as needed. Ditto with Shawshank. Yes, that is a fantastic movie. All right, you get busy living or you get busy dying. I just wanted to see my friend. All right. Okay, so if anyone has any questions on like the process of that and or the fear of changing your outline, well, I already wrote it this way, so why? But the truth is, you can constantly be adjusting it. In fact, once you even start writing your first draft, believe it or not, once you start writing your fourth draft, you know what you can do? You could take out scenes, chapters, rewrite scenes or chapters. You can add a character. You can take a character out. Nothing in this world is telling you because you wrote it, you cannot change it. You must constantly be willing to adjust and rearrange things, because that's what being a writer is. Asking questions, challenging the stuff, breaking things, throwing stuff around, and saying, how do I make this the best possible narrative I can do? You are not restricted by any rules that say you cannot change. If someone tells you it has to be great, they clearly don't know the process. Alien Police Inspection Bureau. Well, yeah, it's like they're in France. Creating a world is a good challenge. Oh, yes, yeah. And it's so much fun, too, because, like, you really have so much leeway on world building. Also, hello to myself and everyone else in the chat. Welcome to the show. All right. So let's add a little bit. Let's add another beat. So in this situation, this is setting up the first beat. And now, by the way, Laura returns to her job. Look what I also realized we could do this. We can, boop, boop, boop. And what does that do? It allows us actually to, after we do this intro scene, we could just jump to her returning to her job. Okay. Breaking the laws of grammar. Oh, my position on that is understand the rules of grammar, understand the rules of, how to approach things like, should it be active or passive? It can be passive, which is breaking the rule of it should always be active. It can be passive if it is for effect. So just yesterday we were talking about repetitiveness, using the same word or same phrase or whatever. If it's for effect, you can break the rule, right? Every rule that exists has a break the rule, meaning it's art, it's creative, try things. When painting was a thing, there was like, this is how you paint. And then people were like, no, why don't we do this? And then people were like, what? And then people were like, humans are made of like boxes and squares and rectangles. And people were like, no, it's too or everything, including music, has evolved through breaking and changing and trying things. So be brave in your efforts. It's okay to try something and fail. It's okay to try something and fail. All right. Enough preaching. Okay, let's get into it. So, so I created the hard chapter break because what's going to happen is after the scene's over, we're just going to get there because we know she gets away. All right, so she's moving around. We're creating a new beat. Laura almost runs into the street, avoiding the light or spotlight of a vehicle passing by. I think passing by is one word. I should say there are authorities in vehicle. Okay. An authority. Remember, it's always better to when you're writing out the outline or any zero draft, you want broad general statements, but you do want to have clarity on who you're talking about and what you're talking about. Even though when you're writing it, you might not have to do that every time because there is context clues and stuff like that. But when you're doing the outline, because when you're writing your first draft, you want to be able to look at the outline and not have to think beyond what you're seeing, All right, so all right. Okay, so do or do not. There is no try. All right, so in this situation, what am I doing? I'm creating stakes. So the tension is that she's running around and people are looking and she has... all right, so the tension is, will she, won't she get caught? The stakes are, what happens if she does get caught? So now that she heard this and they're like, yeah, just take anyone into custody, we'll sort it out tomorrow. Okay, now that's the stakes. So anyone they find, it doesn't matter who it is, they're gonna take them into custody, which means they might not be able to identify her right away, but in custody while she's being held in a cell or whatever, held in the cell, there is a chance that ultimately they can figure out who she is and there's no way out. So we've just created tension and stakes. All right. Okay. Try or try not. There is no done. All right. Frank Oz is going to sue me now. You can't do my voices, kid. I'm sorry, Mr. Oz. All right. Laura Olivia stood clear of the streets, climbing up on the roof of the building, moving through the fire escape. Is fire escape one word or two words? Might be one word, right? Might be two words. Let's see. 2 words. See? Spell check. All right. Remember, great writing is rewriting. All great writers have great editors. Don't allow spelling to be an issue, especially grammar. thing called editors. Okay. Moving through the fire escape. Okay. The lights of the city are mostly off. With some guide her way, giving her enough light to see where she's going. All right. There are flying vehicles. We don't know if they're helping because we got to create vehicles for them. There are flying vehicles with spotlights. Okay, now we're adding a little bit more attention. Okay, spotlights searching the areas of the city and rooftops. All right, Laura needs to move even slower, which makes it even harder. Okay. M dash. Damn AI, you caught me. Hey, look who it is. It's Emma Bennett. I'm here but briefly because lasagna, you had me at lasagna. And I'm a little upset that I wasn't invited over for the lasagna, but whatever. Whatever. Invited over for the lasagna, but whatever. Hi. Hello, Ro. All right. So Laura needs to move even slower. All right. Roofs are congested with equipment and uneven materials. All right. Hi, Cindy. That was Tommy. That's right. Damn M dashes. M dashes. It's all computers right now. We're having deep fried veggies for dinner. Ooh, mayo dip and pineapple sauce. Oh, hi Angel and Hannah and M. All right. Okay, so we're gonna add a little bit more. We're gonna try to create hello Afghani. We're gonna create a little bit more issues. So let's see. Because I don't want to do a chase scene right now. The reason I don't want to do a chase scene is because I know a chase scene is going to be coming up later. So you don't want to like double up on things, you know? You know what I'm saying? Like if you know something's coming up, you know, A, B, C, D, F, G. You wanna try to keep things a little change it up once in a while. So what we're gonna do is. It does sound good, right? That yummy. Fried veggies, they're a win. You know, some broccoli, cauliflower, maybe some green beans. All right. So what we're trying to do is we know that a chase scene is going to come up in the next another chapter. So this one, let's create more tension and more stakes. Hi, Emma. Because we just created an uneven roof, uneven materials. It's congested with equipment. Found on buildings to run the building itself, and uneven materials. Hi, Emma. Hey. All right, let's do it. Okay. Spotlight from the flying. Is on. She slips while running to hide into the shadows and behind a large AC unit. We'll just call it a AC unit for now, but we'll figure that out. We'll play with that. Okay. All right. So, all right. Let's see. The spotlight flies by. Laura gets up to move away, and the flooring beneath her collapses. Oh my god, something happened. Oh, dun dun dun. All right. What we got here? What we got here? Oh, yes, green beans, cauliflower, zucchini, onions. Oh, well, I'm actually allergic to mushrooms, but everything else in that list would be tasty yasty. We got Sunday roast today. And now I want to eat. Boop the like button. Oh, thank you very much. Yes, please boop the like button. Share the video if you feel willing to. You could, I'm sorry, maybe you could just right onto YouTube. It doesn't matter. How you holding up over there, Angel Faye? Oh yeah, Angel Faye. Remember, you are in our thoughts right now, and it's crazy world. I want peace. I want love. I love a Sunday roast. I'll roast you. Let's see. I can't do it. I can't say anything mean. I can't roast. I'm not, it's not I'm not that person right now. All right. Q. Booped. Excelente. Excelente. Well, I'm eating yogurt in bed. Yeah, but Flowers, it's late for you. So you have earned the yogurt in the bed. But I wouldn't eat yogurt like in the bed. Like if your bed was made of yogurt, Trust me to turn that chat to food. So it's all good. It's all good. All right. So the spotlight flies by. Laura gets up to move away, and the flooring beneath her collapses. So we're gonna actually create a new beat. All right. She struggles to get out, but is stuck on something. Okay. Now we're gonna build some more tension and stakes. Okay. She's stuck on something and tries to tear what's holding her. The spotlight flying by is coming back around. Oh no! Another. Let's do this. Another spotlight is coming her way. So now. This is known as the bomb is set or the timer is set. So in Alfred Hitchcock writing, the audience knows about the bomb and it says 5 minutes remaining, but the viewer doesn't. The viewer knows that the bomb is set, which places a time frame. That is a really good tension kind of builder in any story. So the time set just means that something will happen within a certain amount of time. So here I'm setting up that the spotlight, we already know that it covered over this area, but is on its way back over to this area. It's another spotlight. My eye is itchy. Okay. So we know it's going to get there. So she has time between it getting there and getting out of this situation. So we're building tension. And you could do that with anything. Sometimes they do it with, if this is my least favorite version, but we have to get the bullet out of them or they're going to die. So they're on the table and they're trying to take the bullet out of their arm or something like stupid like that. But having a bullet in you doesn't kill you. Shooting through your artery does. But if we don't get the bullet out, they will die. So that is the timer has been set. And it's a very common tension setter, There's a stake and there's a whatever. What do we got? I'm on OMAD, so I do enjoy my food when it comes. I don't know what OMAD is, but food. You got me a food. I love a good food. All right, let's keep it going. She struggles to get out, but is stuck in some. Oh, we gotta remember. We gotta do Laura. Laura Olivia. All right. Spotlight is getting closer. Okay. All right. Tears bottom of her left leg. What is it? Her left pant leg off. Okay. rolling behind another structure on the roof. Okay. My fingers are going all over the way. Okay, structure on the roof and the spotlight lies by not seeing her. Okay. Ooh. All right. What we got? Oh, we got more. We got more. I couldn't eat once. I couldn't eat once a day. Oh yeah. Now you gotta eat at least 1.5 times a day. You know, that's really food is always good. Nom, 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 nom. I hope you're eating, and I hope you're able to get food. You know, whatever. Yeah, you have to get in touch with your inner monk. Pizza. That's my monk. My munkle. All right. 4 breathes, catching your breath, and dealing with blood running down her leg, or calf. Did I spell that right? Calf, leg, calf. Yeah, that's right. Calf. Bam. Okay, down her leg, calf. It's not deep, but it stings. All right. Okay. Ooh, what do we got? Hey, Ellen. Elaine. Hey, y'all. Wishing you a happy day and inspiring episode 25 fun. Woohoo! Welcome. Thank you for the love. Yeah. Ooh. Yeah. Ding, 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 ding. Boo-doo-doo-doo. All right. Where are we? Oh, yeah. Prayers from Texas and Camp Mystic. Oh, yeah. All right. Oh, yeah. All right, let's do this. Okay. And picks herself up. Heading to the other side. Actually, let's say crossing to another building. She is limping. All right, she is limping. She can see her job. You can see the building where her job is in the distance. Okay, so let me explain what I did there. But before we do that, let's what do we got? I've decided to keep my original Sleeping Beauty retelling because I'm thinking about doing a series with the Sleeping Curse. Ooh. And the main item in my story is the spinning wheel where a flower. I like it. Intriguing. Hannah. Oracle twist. Ooh, Fado twins called Thread and Sindel. Like spindle. Very nice. I like. That's very nice. Alright, so what am I doing here? This is actually, this is going to be how I transition from this scene to the next scene. So she's dealing with hiding and moving around and getting, we introduce the situation, okay? And then, we escalate the tension slightly by her almost getting caught, but then hearing the radio, which then creates the stakes, okay? And then we introduce another element where she's like, I gotta get out of here. So she has to go up on the roofs, and then there are flying vehicles with spotlights, which then increases the tension even more because it gets more distance, okay? And then we get her to deal with getting stuck in a hole. And she has to get out of it, and she does, but there is a consequence. She cuts her leg on it, and she's limping. But she sees the building where her job is in the distance, all right? So we don't have to sit here and we don't have to see or deal with her, like, moving around anymore. She's like, all right, I'm going to take my time, kind of stuff. And she's going to get to the building, which leads us to the big jump. So let's see what we did with this. This is 331. Yeah. 331. All right. Now this is the fun part. We actually get to do this. Dealing with, let's say, moving through the street, getting to her job building. All right. So we're gonna put a 0 here. Okay. But for this, I forgot what it was. 331. 331. Boom. There we go. All right, we got some numbers in there. All right, let's get back. Okay, now let's jump. Let's jump. All right. This we just did. We did. They aren't going to be checking the bit. So we have to change the narrative slightly, and that's okay. Remember, we're allowed to change things. They wouldn't be checking the buildings. More importantly, the businesses, because they're closed. All right. But what we can do is we could have the boss there, because maybe the boss lives there. So this, a lot of this is going to change. Some of the authorities come in, Laura's blasting, or one of the others. Ooh, you know what we could do? Okay, I know what I'm going to do. I can get away with this still. All right. I have. Ooh, sounds like a great idea. Love the character names. Yeah, Hannah Hahn's coming up with some good stuff. We like hearing about it. Let's see if we can make. Let's see if we can make this actually. We could get the authorities in there to create a little bit more tension. Thomas, any name for the love interest yet? I was thinking Roiston. Roiston. No, I don't know. I don't have a name yet. I have a dream. I have a dream. All right. Okay, let's see. That I could make my book into a movie with AIs. I mean, you probably could nowadays. Roiston. All right. What we got? Oh. Laura returns to her job. Okay, so this is what we're going to do. Climbs down a fire escape. Hitting the ground on her bad leg, and tripping. Ouch! A vehicle. An authority vehicle heads down the street in her direction. Whoa. All right. Laura hobbles across the way, trying to reach her building before the spotlight hits her. Okay. As she closes the door, the light hits the building. All right. Oh, yeah. Thank you for all the nice comments. My mother also told me this morning that I have a lot of ideas for my strand. I told her that I don't stop thinking about them during my work week. And well, you shouldn't. Let those ideas flow. You can never have too many ideas. You just have to learn when and where to put them and play with them and, turn them into something exciting. All right, what do we got here? What do we got? Ooh! Is she... or thin and tall? Tingly is an interesting name. I have a character whose name is... Ooh. Are you saying for the character I'm working on right now, or just in general, you're just talking about names? And yeah, I like it. Tingley. Oh, yeah. Well, the character I have right now is Laura Olivia. This character that we're working with is Laura Olivia. I haven't I haven't decided what she looks like yet because she is going to be 100% a human, 100% an alien. There are no humans in this book because it takes place in outer space. It's sci-fi. Do I want to do tentacles and pink skin? Maybe. Who knows? But I'm definitely leaning into a humanoid shape. You know, 2 legs, 2 arms, 1 head. But the style and look of the character, I'm leaving up to later on. When I'm working on outline stuff, I try to avoid specific elements, unless it's like deeply important. Like if something comes up and I'm just like, oh, that I need that. But even if I'm like, oh, you know, it'd be interesting if like there was a species that they have like a vampiric ability to absorb just your energy, you know, like whatever. I might write that down, but I won't. I'll allow myself to explore that and, you know, stuff like that. Thankfully, no humans. Yeah, humans ruin everything. You know? I meant my stories. Darn, it happened again with my typing where I mean to say 1 word. It's all right. No one's judging. No one judges here. Curvy. She might be curvy. She might be curvy. We don't know. We don't know. You know, we're not judges of anything here. But again, I could just make her like a well, she can't cut her leg if she's a blob. Like if I have her like, you know, like a gelatinous cube. But I try not to think about that right now. I allow the as I develop it to sort of, who is this character? What is their personality? You know, what is their job? What is their requirements? You know, what would make it easier for them? However, now that I said gelatinous cube, I think that's the way to go. Destroys the sci-fi suspension of disbelief a lot of the time. Yeah, like if it's a human, like where do they come from? Because are they coming from Earth? Because if they're not coming from Earth, then they're not humans, right? Because they're not from Earth. So, you know, no humans were harmed in the making of the story. Correct. All right, what do we got here? Oh, we're almost done with our hour. All right. Okay. All right. Runs in, turning on the light, and rushing to the first aid kit. All right. She tackles fixing, you know, wrapping up her wound, and is making noise. All right. Her boss comes downstairs, still in his sleeping clothes. PJs? Okay. All right. That would be funny. He has a PJs. All right. We don't need this pot. All right. Or boop, 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 boop. Nervous. Laura tells her boss about what happened and that they are looking for her and her. Woo yes. Okay. The boss gives her some. Oh wait. That'll come up. That'll come up. Let's just the boss tells her that he'll help her get the parts, and maybe he can speak with someone about. Oh wait, no, I got it. What tells her they can. Maybe he can speak with someone about getting you another ship just to get home. All right, so this now what I'm doing here is I'm going to create sort of like her position and her motivation. So like the solution here would be easy, where you say, "Oh, get another ship," and now the boss is actually the audience, because that's what we're thinking. Just find another way off the island, the planet. But now what we're going to create is the conflict she's dealing with, which is Laura says that she hasn't paid off the ship. Besides, besides, she didn't do anything wrong. Okay. Then why are you hiding? All right. All right. The conversation is about her fear of not being believed. Okay, so that's something we've dealt with, right? She's never been in this kind of situation. And why didn't she just refuse to fly the ship away when they hijacked her? All right. Okay. To survive. To survive. All right. The boss said, it's in your people's blood. The planet. Survivors. All right. Now remember, the boss fought in the war, but ultimately it was their planet versus their planet. They're completely different species. For whatever reason, that's something we could go into more, and it's like we could build on that and the world building and stuff. But we have been building that there was this war and this battle between these two planets. What this does, it also creates an interesting debate, because there is no such thing as all good or all bad people, right? There is a variation and nuance and stuff like that. So even this person who was in the war, having to fight the other side, who was saved by the other side in one way or another, and that's why he's helping her, is also giving a critique on the people that he had to fight. So, or she, we don't know. It's just the boss right now. But that allows us to discuss topics without leaning towards a defining answer. And what that does, it engages the reader to do what? To have their own thoughts on it, to think about it. Who do they side with? Did they hear something that made them think, maybe they have a point, but I do agree with this person, right? But like, there have some good words. And the reason is because that's how we become interested in characters. It's all about the positions they hold. This is a position, by the way. So for the boss to hold this particular belief creates the position. How much do they hold that belief? Enough to help her out, knowing that she's from that planet, knowing that people are looking for her. His belief allows him to put himself in danger, in a sense, to help her. Okay, so that creates a position of belief. And those positions of beliefs, it could be on anything. It'd be like, for example, I wrote this just so you can always. So like, a position is a belief a character holds towards something. That belief can range from their favorite color to their thoughts about the creation of the world. And it's when characters all have different beliefs or variations on the same belief, by the way. They could all be like, I love the Jets. I watch the Jets, but I really love the Jets. I kind of love the Jets. I only like the Jets because my parents like the Jets. Like, it could just be a variations of a belief held on one specific thing, etc., etc. But that still creates dynamic, right? Anyway, that's a little aside. Let's get back into it. All right, let's create some noise. There is a banging on the door. All right. Laura doesn't know what to do. She thinks they know she's here. And, all right. The boss tells her to go work on the ship in the back. All right. Okay, so I'm currently watching the Powerpuff Girls. Hey yo! I don't have any lines from that. Powerpuff Girls, Powerpuff. What is the quote from there? Saving the world before bedtime. Okay. All right. Let's see. That's my craziness going off. Okay, there's a bang at the door. There is banging at the door. The front door. The front middle doors. The front middle door. Okay. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm actually going to create another. This is going to be a soft chapter break. Boom. So with that said, let's see what this looks like. 220. Oh, 227. That was a great show, by the way. All right. Let's do this. Let's do this. Okay. 227. 227. 227. All right. Getting to a job. All right. Working on the ship. Okay. So, I should say a ship. I'm going to explain what I just did in a second. What are we got here? When you're a jet all the way, from your first cigarette to your last dying day. Jets, jets. Okay. All right, so why? Here's a question for the audience to answer if you feel comfortable enough. Not why is this a soft chapter break, but why did I choose to create a soft chapter break after this scene and after the banging of the door goes off? I'm not going to say why, but I want to see if somebody has an answer, and then we'll see what happens. Tom, the wind blew open the door and spun all the way to Oz. Just kidding. Is it because of my big voice? Or because they banging on the door. And I'll get you and your little dog too. All right. Okay. Laura is working. Is wearing. See, again, this is a zero draft, right? So I don't have to really write in the prose. I'm just being very direct with that, okay? Sorry, can you repeat that? I couldn't hear the question because my girl decided to scream that moment. Yes, I can repeat the answer. The question. The question is, why did I take this scene right here, right, and decide to create a soft chapter break and start a new scene within the same chapter? What was the reason for creating a soft chapter break and a new scene? That was the question. I feel bad for the Powder Puff Girls. They're getting beat up by the Rowdy Rough Boys. Mojo Joe needs to take a vacation. Fly, my pretties, fly! I used to call it just a first draft. Well, a first draft would be if you're writing your prose, that would be a first draft. A zero draft would be where like you're working out ideas for that chapter or for where your story is going. So you can still write prose in a zero draft, but it's more like, you know, they're in a room and, you know, the clouds are outside and it's raining, you know, and it's like they discuss blah, blah, blah. Like it's very like general. My nose is so itchy. But a first draft is like prose heavy. Like you're writing full on prose, you know, you're trying to put in personality and stuff like that. Soft chapter break to make it intriguing and help the reader want to get back to what was going on just before the chapter break. Interesting. Let's see. We could talk about that. Could it be for making it more extendable? All right. So the intriguing element does help. You know, breaking up your chapter into scenes does help with because this kind of has a conclusion and it's moving on. There's still more. Like that does create the intrigue. But the reason is because this scene has a beginning, a middle, and end. And when you reach the end of a scene, you have to ask yourself, do I want to start up a new beginning, middle, and end? Or do I want to create a new scene? Do I want to break it up? Do I want to create that rhythm? All right. And in this situation, this scene moved to its finality. It starts with her entering up, creating the context. She's fixing her wound. The boss wakes up. This creates the conflict. What's going on? Oh, they're following me. They found my ship, all this stuff. And then we create a resolution that pushes the narrative forward, which is there's a banging at the door. So we solved her situation with her concern and worry. And the boss is like, I'm in for the win. All right. And we move it on. So now the soft chapter break is sort of like a clean slate. Okay. So now we see the soft chapter break and we're going to set up again. We're going to conflict and then we're going to resolve. But that soft chapter break gives a palate cleaning to the reader. So it's very helpful. It's very helpful. Could it be for... the zero draft is where Thomas can more easily influence you to alter things before making big mistakes. He's making a joke, but he is correct. The zero draft allows you to have the most malleability, the most, you could adjust things and clean things. See, yes. Because this scene right here, it has a very distinct beginning, middle, and end. We know that this scene has a setup for context, a conflict or challenge to reframe, and then we are resolving with a narrative forward memento, and then we want to clean the palette and say we got to set up the next beat. Or if we're using pacing as a learning tool, if we didn't create the soft chapter break or hard chapter break, or in some cases, some writers might just do a full chapter change. They might end the chapter with the bang on the door and be like, you know what? Let's just do another chapter. Which, by the way, that is also okay. But if we didn't do that and we just kept it going, now we are adding information that is revealed to the reader, and therefore it could distract with the pacing. This soft chapter break with the clean palette kind of resets the pacing in a sense, like, oh, all right, I get a breath. I can stop reading if I want right now and take in what just happened. Or because I'm still excited and engaged, I'm going to keep going. But now there's new circumstances. So that tension is like here, but like as a reader, you get to go, oh, all right, so where are we? What is the new circumstances, right? Not that they think those words exactly, but I guess zero drafts is for that other one that isn't Pantser. I mean, Pantsers could still use zero drafts. It's when you're like using broad general thoughts. You're like, they're gonna be inside the building, and like where is this? Like it's like half prose and half whatever. It's just you're trying to figure out what's gonna go in that chapter. That's really what. And again, other people could look at it differently, but that's how I was kind of taught. But Thomas, why is there a bang on the door? Bum bum bum. The bang on the door. All right, there's a bang on the front door, and then Laura doesn't know what to do. She thinks or I should say the authorities, know she's here. So you could do, there's a bang on the front door, authorities. That's a good call, so we'll just make it clear. Authorities are asking for them to open up the door and out. Now remember, when Laura first came in, she ran on turning on the lights, so we know that someone's there. And before she got there, the light reached the thing, so there's a chance they saw somebody run into the building, okay? All right, so the reason there's a bang on the door, to answer your question, is the authorities. All right, and we seeded that. We seeded that with she ran into the door, the light hit the door, so there's a chance they saw her, etc., etc. All right, what else? Forgot what it's called. I forgot what it's called. It's probably called Welcome to the Jungle. We got fun and games. No, I'm serious. Thankfully, during Zero Draft, we are less likely to not listen to advice as the further we get into it. Yeah, I guess, yeah. Wait. We are less likely to... Oh, I see what you're saying. Less likely to not listen to it. What we got here? I do all the planning in the outline, which you should, that's fine too, but also feel comfortable changing things as you can and where you can. Makes sense. Oh, with the, yes. It's because the B-52s, well, down. Is it Hot Tin Roof? What is it, B-52 song? Love Shack, baby, Love Shack. All right. I also do a little summary of the chapter before I start writing it. I guess yes, that's like the summaries. The summaries could lean towards zero draft, but it would be extended. Like what is this chapter about? So if a zero draft is about the chapter, yeah, you're sort of like zero drafting out. You're like feeling it out and seeing where it goes. All right, let's keep going. We have a little bit. Oh, we're an hour. All right, we're gonna stop here. We're gonna stop, and we're gonna give the floor to the room. So ended here. All right. Boop. 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 Okay, there we go. All right, not bad. I think next week we're definitely gonna get that done. All right, let's do it. Bloop. What we got? I wasn't thinking of those other story beats, but felt like the door was a hanging question, and the soft chapter break. Woohoo! Yeah, the thing is, like, let's say I didn't definitively state that the authorities like, hey, open up. The door knock it resolves the scene because they're done talking. They can't talk anymore and sit there in the moment. But it resolves the scene in that same, but it also moves your narrative forward because who's knocking at the door? And to play it safe, all right, go work on the ship in the back. Meaning that the boss already has a plan in mind. So we are seeding and sort of alluding. Because remember, one of the secrets to writing is vague but informative. When you look at a scene, you need to inform the audience enough to understand what's going on, context, but you have to be vague enough for them to have questions and be interested enough to get the answers to those questions. That's a little trick there. All right, next time I will try this way so Thomas doesn't make me cry when he reads it. I'm not going to cry when I read your stuff. I'm going to have fun with it, all right? I'm going to enjoy what I read. And all notes, if any notes, has nothing to do with the quality of your writing. Remember, all great writing is rewriting. All great writers have great editors. That's just the rule of the game. Even Brandon Sanderson, who should have had another editor work on his last book, has an editor, All right. But something more is going to happen at some point. Correct. Yes. But because I'm going to have the runaround chase around in another chapter, we're not going to have that happen. But at the end of this chapter, we already mapped it out where the authorities are going to come in and they're going to have an interaction. And the boss, Laura, and the authorities are going to be there. And they're going to be like, did you just run in here? Like, did we see, like, what's going on? The curfew says that you have to be home. And then they're going to have to be like, this is our home. We stay here. We live here. And then they're going to be like, well, what's your relations? And it's like, oh, this is my cousin's, kid. What, like, like we have to have them internally and externally deal with this conversation. So the wrong thing said could lead to something bad. So that creates a little bit of tension and stuff like that. Yes, okay. It could be Paul McCartney at the door. Do him a favor, open the door and let him in. Paul McCartney still owes me money, so we don't really talk about him. But if we had to, hey Jude. Okay. All right. Paul McCartney. I like it a lot. I appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, again, I'm just brainstorming right off but like the general, like if we look at the general gist of it, the scene is, Laura's welding. She's like working on the ship. The authorities are like, hey, who is this girl? Who is this person? And she lifts her helmet and then she answers questions and then the authority leaves. So this is what the extended draft looks like. But now in the zero draft, I have to build out this scene and I got to allow things to happen. Because if you watched yesterday's video, this would be things are happening when nothing is happening because there's no like cause and effect or challenge or blah, 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 blah. So you have to create some conflict, which I did, by the way, with this opening where there's authorities, she gets trapped in the hole and she cuts her leg. That's all things are happening because there's choices being made. There's consequences to choices, etc., 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 etc. With the complete frog chorus. The frog chorus. That's funny. That's funny. By the way, frogs self. All right. Oh, let's talk about the. If anyone hasn't voted on the poll yet, feel free to. Where do you encounter the most challenges in world building? We have balance, detail versus reader immersion. Okay, that seems to be the big one. Creating believable magic systems. Abacazaba. Integrating history and law smoothly. And, of course, avoiding those info dumping. Depends on how much coffee I have, honestly, before the info dumping happens. But anyway. I'm an adult. Okay. If anyone hasn't voted, I'll let it go a little bit. But, yes, let's put that down. Oh, yeah, by the way, today is the 25th episode. We are answering audience questions. But where's the thing? Oh, here it is. Poll. Where do you encounter the most challenges in world building? All right, let's do it. What is it? Pip me with the frogs. You got to be careful with the frogs. They're dangerous. Last one. That is an info. All right, we're gonna end the poll. Boop. Okay, balance. The winner. The winner. The most difficult is balance, detail versus reader immersion. All right. Is anyone interested in learning how to balance detail and reader immersion? Is anyone really interested in that? Do you want a quick how do I do that, Thomas? We gotta let's go. All right, let's do it. Okay, so the first thing is let's go, Thomas. Let's go. All right. So let's say you're writing something and oh yeah. So I'm going to write what some prose might look like if it is exposition heavy, okay? All right. Ro Ista. Istin. Ro Istin. Step through the front door, the front door of the inn or the tavern. Its walls covered in weapons and armor. Crowd filled over the room. And okay. Oh wait. Let's before we do that. Armor that had been worn in the Great War, 1703, and weapons that still had blood on their blades. A battle that lasted 5 years and cost the lives of many. It was a time. That's where would be bad. It was a time long before the children who are men, adults now, could know any true death. The city had become somber over the years since, and we honor them by coming here to the tavern where it all began and drink to their sacrifice. All right. Okay, so this is what we would call exposition heavy. Okay, so I mentioned the photo. I thought it was very good. I like the photo. I love the hat. All right. So this is what might be considered. Do you type in your character's voices? No comment. And yes, I do. I do. Because especially because I come from screenwriting and I'm an actor. I've been in things. So as I'm writing, I'm sort of getting into their, why would you do that? I don't know. Especially with Yarzy. Yarzy's like a mentor character, and he's always gruff, and he's just really loving it, but he's like, maybe, he has that voice. Anyway, was rowing in the river when float. Ooh, ooh, it tickles my gizzard. Tickles my gizzard. Then yes, yeah, very much so, very much. You gotta entertain yourself, especially when you're in the room alone. I noticed the change, but they're often too small for me to tell what they are. Ro, can you go into it a little bit more? I'm a little confused on the reference, but I always want to hear your insight. I'm very interested in it. Sometimes I do, especially when they're being when they're being snarky. It's not that we are doing the voice; they're doing the voice through us. Oh, I appreciate that. Thank you very much. I'll drink some water to avoid the blushing that's happening right now. Oh, yeah. Oh, I noticed the change, but they're often too small. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Profile on Hannah. All right. So if the poll is balance, detail versus immersion, okay, this would be considered detail. This is like exposition and stuff that we should know. If it's too small, let me build it up a little bit. There we go. You could probably read it much better now. Characters can be brats. They definitely can be. All right. So again, Rose. What did I say? Rowinston. Oh, Rowinston. I do too. The kids think I'm a nut job. That's because we are nut jobs. We're authors. There's just craziness going on here, and we have to get it on the page, or we can't sleep at night. All right, Rosentan. Rosentan. Oh, you want a Rosentan? That's fine. Rosentan just dumped that after his coffee. The coffee does it. Rosentan is fine. Rosentan stepped through the front door of the tavern, its walls covered in weapons and armor. All right, so far, Rosentan. Rosentan. I love it. All right, so this first sentence, 100% telling. Rosentan stepped through the front door of the tavern, its walls covered in weapons and armor. Now, the rule of one or more of these three, it does present plot. We are moving the plot forward because he is stepping forward, and whatever the case is. But because it's missing an emotional truth and dynamics, it fails the test. I'm almost nuts. Who happened to write going through my fourth childhood? That's fair. All right, so this is telling. All right, and then we just get into a huge exposition dump. Armor that had been worn in the Great War of 1703, and weapons that still had blood on their blades. Right, all of this. All of this does not need to happen right now. So what is? And to be fair, we just so everybody knows what's going on. Immersion. All right. What is this text? I just wrote it, and it's going to be. It's right now. It is just detail. So this is what just detail looks like, or exposition, or telling. So when we're writing world building, right? Because the poll was, where do you encounter the most challenges in world building? And everyone answered, most people, the majority answered, balance, detail versus reader immersion. So detail is like, I need people to know stuff. And this might be something somebody writes in the sense of like, they mention like a tavern, or they mention like the sword of bloop bloop, right? And then they just give like this exposition on it, because a lot of times as writers, we think the more readers know about this world, the cooler the world will be, because they'll see what I see, because I know all these awesome details. But we are emotionally connected to that information, and your job as a writer is to get them to be emotionally connected to the information through the emotional truth of your characters and how they connect to the information. So this becomes a massive exposition, I just drank my coffee dump, okay? So the way to fix this, all right, we can either get all this information in now, Okay, we can just be like, hey, let's just get. It's a huge passage, but it will slow down the pace, and it's not doing anything. We've talked about something is happening, but nothing is happening. The thank you. This is the only thing where something is kind of happening, but then all this is a lot. This is 77 words we just spent on our budget that isn't doing anything. What you're explaining the difference. Oh yeah. Yeah. So this is all again. What is exposition? What is immersion? Etc. Etc. Right. So now, if I wanted to, Rosentan, okay, step through the front door of the town, right? It should definitely be through the character's POV, 100%, because that's how we create reader immersion. Reader immersion is always through the POV of the character, because if we don't understand an emotional connection to it, then how are we going to have an emotional connection to it? It's like watching a movie or a television show. We're falling in love with the love story because they're falling in love. And we're like feeling that we're having what I would call empathy. If you change it to armor that looked like it was worn in the Great War, it becomes good. Oh, you mean yes, but again, it's not doing anything. So let's do it. Armor, it was well covered in weapons. Armor that looked like it was worn in the Great War. Of all right, but still nothing is happening. So again, a lot of that I'm teaching is through all my videos, and even on the other videos, it's not how pretty you write it that makes it good, because you could be really great at description and really great at choosing the right words, but are they the best words for doing the job of what makes great writing? And great writing is all the other stuff we talked about, which is there's logical narrative movement. It's connected through the POV and emotions of a character. It's either moving the plot forward, building character, or developing the world. It's right, like all these things. Once you understand them, and you could start breaking those rules, of course. But it is not about the pretty words. If the pretty words aren't doing anything, like this is doing nothing. Armor that looked like it was worn in the Great War of 1703, and weapons that still had blood on their blades. That isn't doing anything but informing us. It's telling us of something we have no emotional connection to at all. We just don't have it. It's just details. It's like if you walked into a house and someone said, oh, this couch is my, I bought this couch at Home Depot. And by the way, this wall is teal. You'd just be like, okay, thank you. Like it would just be information, It's a difference between falling asleep during a movie versus can't even blink. Yeah, where you're leaning in, you're like, because if you become emotionally connected to everything, that's where the engagement is. Engagement isn't the emotion we have as an author to the history, because no one can feel the emotion we have to that history. You have to push that emotion through other characters. Hello, everyone. Hey, what's up, JK? Good to see you. Thank you so much. Thanks. Hey, JK. I struggle with this issue. I like trying to describe the setting and using too many details. Yeah, and in this case, just for the record, this is moving the plot forward. This describes the walls, and then this is like a deep exposition dive. I struggle with finding that balance. So let's talk about trying to get a balance. Let's see if we can infer things and we could create a sort of a movement here. I guess it's like I don't tell the wife I love her, but I do. Yes. You can tell somebody you love them if you've loved them for a long time and they've seen so much beauty in your behavior and you've shown that love, and you can be like, I love you. And they're like, of course this person loves me, and because I've seen it, and now you can tell me. And that is another thing I tell clients too. Sometimes they'll do like heavy telling, and then they'll show the characters do the thing, and I go, you have to earn the telling, right? Telling is good for context. I need to know enough so I can see what's happening. But if you allow characters to behave throughout the story, a character is good, kind and compassionate, show them being kind and compassionate. Then you can have a character say they're kind and compassionate. And now you've earned the telling. You've earned the telling. The same issue applies to characters and dessert. Yeah, since my book is food and more food is being brought up. I want to eat. That's a great analogy. Yes, for sure. For sure. That's a really great analogy. But then she complains that you don't tell her that you love her. Well, again, it depends if your behavior, you gotta mix it up. You can tell her you love her, but at the same time, behavior will always outweigh words. Because, you could love bomb somebody with just like, I love you. You're the most beautiful. Oh, look at your eyes and your hair. I love your hair. And look at your elbow weenuses, I'm signing off as my baby's trying to sleep. See you next time. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for staying and watching. Thank you. 'Cause you showed her the love. Hello to you and your baby. Have a great rest of the week. Yes, have a great rest of the weekend. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I describe many things in my pastry chef book. I mean, if remember though, you want to describe it through the characters. So like if the character's eating it, oh yeah, you could describe the taste of it. If a character's looking at it, what is it about the pastry that they are noticing, and not necessarily about you as the author saying, I want people to know what the pastry looks like, because you want the description of the pastry to be through the emotional experiences of your characters. But only when it's necessary. She's mute. But yeah, all right, I'm glad. Yeah, so as long as it's through what they're noticing, you're adding. Now that creates the empathy. Why? Because somebody's reading it and the character is noticing a very specific thing, and now the reader can. Oh, that character's noticing it. All right, and now you could create like a movement. Okay, so let's make this a little something. Let's the pulse of mead and laughter hit Rostin as he walked through the old tavern. The old Asin Tavern. Okay. All right. Crowd. All right. Okay. Wait. So, so now what we did is we automatically gave an immersive element to it. So, the pulse of mead and laughter hit Rostin as he walked through the old Darvin Asin, or I would just say, we'll just make it simple. The Darv Tavern. Okay. So we're already creating atmosphere through his experience. Okay. The pulse meaning hit or pushed or filled. I like hit. Okay, hit, because it's just like, when you enter a room and just the atmosphere just hits you as he walked through the old Darv Tavern. Okay. Now I don't have to write he saw or looked at blank blank blank. We could just go. We can add this, right? We could do but I don't want to put the armor. I don't want to do the war. We're gonna add that in a nice special way. Okay. All right. Okay. He nodded. To the men and women. Okay, so he nodded to the men and women, each with a spark. No, let's go. All right, I'm trying to fill up the room. I want to fill up the room, So we gotta create experience here. So the pulse of mead and laughter hit Rosin as he walked through the old. Okay. Here's something line entering as he entered. Okay, and so we just saved word count. That's what line editing looks like, by the way, where you take like more than one word and you go, how do I create a stronger, I could even, as he marched in, whatever, but entered the old Arv Tavern. All right. My mother just bought me a chargeable fan the other day, and it's been very cool to have during the summer night. Oh yeah, fans are nice. Fans are nice, especially when you talk into them and they're like, "Hello, how are you? My name is Thomas." All right, I'm gonna bring this down so we have more room to write in. Okay, and I'm gonna shrink this down just a little bit here. Let's go to 14. All right. Okay, so a couple things that are happening. We have Rostin making choices. Okay, first we create the room is hitting him as he makes the choice to enter the tavern itself. He is choosing to nod to the bartender of all people from across the room. And now we are creating the visual connection. The bartender across the room, the armor and weapons line the walls and leading to the center of the, lining the walls, leading to the center of the bar. So we're describing basically what he's looking at without saying he saw or he looked at. Now we're building or seeding towards the discovery of the information or the exposition. So we know he's in a bar. We know that he knows the bartender because he's nodding at him. Okay, the place is filled. Okay, what's the name? The creek. Oh, every step creaked. This seems a little passive. So how do we make this a little bit more active? His steps. Oh, his boots. His boots. Oh, clicked. His boots clicked against the hardwood floors. Each step creaking from age and where? Age and where. All right. So now we're creating history. Okay. Now, that was the fan imitation. You really like that, Rome. Okay. All right. So we have the armor. We have the tavern. Let's see. A battle lasted 5 years and cost many times. Okay. Okay. He stepped to the bar. A drink placed. A drink placed before him. Let's get that making more sense. He stepped to the bar. A drink down counter, waiting for him. Okay. Ruse grabbed it, lifting it out to the people. To the fallen 1703. He called out. The tavern, returning the gesture. Unison. All right. So just as an example, what just happened now? Okay, we just added to the fallen of 1703. We added the camaraderie of the town itself. Okay, so we have the city had become somber over the years since we honoring them by coming here to the tavern where it all began and drank to their sacrifice. So we just saw him enter. The bartender put the drink down before he even reached the bar. Rosin grabbed it, lifting it out to the people and to the fallen of 1703, and they're like, he called out, the tavern returning the gesture in unison. So we are showing and creating reader immersion because we are watching behavior, choices, and call and response, so the cause and effect. To the fallen of 1703. And then, you could even do he called out, and you could do to give more effect to the fallen of 1703, the tavern returned the gesture in unison. So you could do that too. So it adds a little bit more. Okay. Now, Do we need to inform that the weapons still had blood on their blades, or that the battle lasted for 5 years and cost many lives? It was a long time before the children who were adults knew true death. No, we do not need to add that in the scene. But what we can do, because we wrote that, right? We wrote this, and it's exposition, and it's history, and we want it to be known. We know that we get to show children having that naivete of not understanding true death. So that means adults or people who are fought in that battle or are descendants, maybe first generation descendants of that battle. So for example, my father was in Vietnam, so I am a first generation descendant of somebody who went through that war, and I know what my father looked like dealing with PTSD, and him telling me or actually reacting to where he'd be like, oh, the jungle's around me right now, and like he's like, get down, like hide. And I'm like, why? And he's like, there's explosions, and you're like, dad, I'm here, I'm right here. But if I had a kid, they would be 2 generations removed from that. So in this case, that line right there would be better served by showing the behavioral differences between the adults that are at least connected to that death, which are celebrating this moment, versus the kids who might be learning of the cultural tradition of celebrating the death on this day, but not necessarily understanding the emotional connection to that cultural tradition. And that creates interest and intrigue when it comes to the narrative, because we get to see different positions on that truth, on that history. And that makes history more interesting. It's sort of, I'll tell a quick story about, showing the toast already sets it apart from the exposition. I'm writing a book about mind-bending meta thriller where a trio hacks the book they are in, smashing endless sequels. Oh, wow, that's actually really awesome. Brutal ending, they are in control. That's a really, really great idea, because it'll break the fourth wall. It'll be playful. As a new writer, I think that's something to explore. Play with that. That is a very intriguing. That's very intriguing. That's a good idea. That's my thoughts on it. That's something to definitely work on and play with. It's going to take a little bit to, especially as a first-time writer, to really make that work. But it's worth putting the time into it to make it work. Tom, I get to. What's the Tom? I'm losing the content. I'm sorry. Yeah, so basically it changes genres every time the world resets that in itself is very interesting. And you could do that for sure, because even when you're changing acts or sections within an outline, I may be saying things that are a little out of box for you, but on this channel we talk about the 27 plot point outline, and the outlines have acts, sections, and plot points, and you could change genres within the sections and within the It's not too ambitious. It's ambitious, but all writing is ambitious. So get to working on it. All right, and please, if you continue to watch this channel and hang out on Saturday and Sundays for the live, we will support you, and we love hearing all about it and really getting into it. Your videos have helped me a lot. So thank you. I'm so glad that you're watching and that they're helping, and my weirdness is entertaining enough. So that really makes me feel good. Thomas's videos are fantastic. Emma, coming from you, that means a lot, because I love your channel as well. You have excellent content. Boop the snoot. That's a very cool concept. Very cool concept, for sure. I learned so much. Really, Emma? You're already like, what I'm saying? We're like almost, you know what I'm saying? You know your stuff. It is an exciting challenge, and absolutely go for it. So what I was saying with the children, the separation between the adults that are first generation from the trauma versus the kids is, one of my friends One of my friends, who is about my age, maybe like 5 or 6 years younger than me, we got to experience 9/11, and we know that's a horrible thing that happened. However, for the story to make sense, is we live with having to see that. We live with what happened. He was doing a comedy show, and many years had passed, and while doing comedy, he was a girl came up to him and was like, "Oh, your set was really funny. You were mentioning you mentioned something back in the early 2000s about a TV show." And she's like, "Isn't that when like 9/11 happened?" And he was like, "Yeah, I was in the city when it happened. Where were you?" And she says, "I was in first grade and we were coloring fire trucks." That right there, if you could take that true story that happened and narratively understand what is happening, is to that person, their memory is I was coloring fire trucks in first grade, and his memory is he watched it on television, he was in the city, he saw the chaos, the fallback, the uniting of people, the trucks, never forget. And that's what I'm talking about when you're writing. If you could show that depth between generations, if you could show the nuance and discussion of that history. So this exposition, the immersion is those things, the nuance, the the Civil War. It was crazy, but we're in 2025 and talking about the Civil War. We're so far extended from it. We're so far removed that we don't really have the same emotional connection we have to, say, someone like my father who was in Vietnam, right? And if you had asked him about Vietnam, there's a different emotional response to that. And that's what makes the reader immersion, is if we can see that through the characters, their emotional truth connected to said information or history, the nuance in how they discuss or react to it, respond to it. For example, my father was in Vietnam. He fought in Vietnam. He was blown up in Vietnam. However, my uncle, his brother-in-law, was, what do you call those people? National Guard. And he was stationed in New York during Vietnam. And my father wasn't one of those people that would be like, like celebrating Vietnam veterans. Like, he was like, I want nothing to do with that. It just, everything about it reminds me of hell. And he threw away all his medals. He won medal. He was like, I don't want anything to do with it. It's just, everything reminds me of it. And then my uncle would be like, oh, remembering the veterans of Vietnam. And he's a veteran of Vietnam, but he's like not, like he, you know what I'm saying? Like, and it also turns out that he left like a couple months after joining, because of like an injury or something, but it wasn't even an injury. It was like he sprained something. And my father used to always be like, well, you got to stop saying you're a veteran of Vietnam. Like, you didn't see action. You didn't even go into boot camp. Like, you would just, you were a weekend warrior in comparison. So, but that is the nuance of what makes reader engagement when connected to history, when connected to exposition. Whenever you have information you need to bestow to the reader, it's okay to set things up. For example, we know that it's the old Darth Tower. We know that he's connected to the bartender. This is context clues. Okay, we know that there's armor, weapons lining the... And by the way, we can explore that in the scene or even later, right? We could have somebody who's more naive enter the room and become the audience to not knowing about it. And maybe they're like close to touch the weapon or armor, and someone's like, no, don't do that, right? And it's those things that create the stronger immersion over the detail, right? So vague but informative, I said it earlier. That's a great way to do it. If you end up writing something like this that is thick with exposition, all you got to do when you're going back for your second or third or fourth draft is say, can I expand this into a scene of behavior? Can I take this information and split it up between chapters going backwards and forwards from this moment? Do I need this exposition dump here? Even though it's just one pro, I could get away with it. It's information. Now they know it. Or can I allow this information to be remembered through the experience of the reader because they are emotionally experiencing it through how characters connect to it? All right? And that's why seeding is so powerful. Seeding would take this information and break it up and connect it to other characters, etc., etc., etc. All right. I hope that helped or was interesting enough. What I miss? I learned so much. Exciting. I agree. Woo! Oh yeah. I love the concept. Yeah, it is a really good concept. I definitely suggest you push towards it. I can't wait to get the story finished so I can move on to the fancies. And I love that you say that because honestly, you should not be worrying about the fancies right now because it's just let's get it out of the brain and onto the page. I think, Tom, that is why when writers write from what they know, their story is very potent. Oh, yes, I would agree. And I would almost add a caveat to that. Sometimes we think we needed to be there to understand it, but like lost love, right, could come from another feeling. Like what is the feeling of loss, right? And that's like the human condition is what we know. We know that, like, if I've experienced human condition, how do I relate that to something else? And that's how we create the theme or the tone, or like if like maybe we're telling a story that has nothing to do with war or like PTSD, but the story itself touches on the themes of those things because like, for example, I was, and I think I've said this before on here, but when I was younger, I was almost kidnapped from my bed. Somebody broke into the house. They came up the stairs. They turned the light on. I was a child, and they started grabbing on my leg, and my mom was like, "Will you kids stop making noise in there?" And she didn't get up or anything, but she heard noise, and the person let go and ran down the stairs. And I have PTSD from that. I deal with therapy with it, right? So there are themes from that experience of PTSD or helplessness that I place in stories that isn't necessarily directly related to being kidnapped. So that to sort of like kind of add it as a caveat to that, it's like what we know, right? And what we know is those feelings of helplessness or feelings of whatever the issue is. It's it's like deeper kind of. I can connect this emotion to something else, and now I could explore those themes. My grandfather's uncle, I think, was too scared to go to World War One, and rightfully so. The trench wars. And later decided to go under a different name and died a few months later and is buried in France. Imagine if he had written a story about that experience. Like, I'm so sorry that happened to him. But what a choice! What a brave! What a defining element of who he is as a human being. Sure, he was scared, but to go in still. Wow. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you for sharing that with us. And thank you for sharing that with me. Wow. Oh yes, I know what you mean. Yeah, it's like, it's a side. Yes. Yeah, it was I'm okay to talk about it because, therapy. But I have night terrors from it still. It's just one of those things, and you never know. You think, oh, get away from vans and candy, but no, I was sleeping in my bed, and it's still possible. Like we never know what's gonna happen to us, and we should definitely try to embrace life, how and when we can. And it's just, I appreciate that. I do appreciate that. Yeah, he went into hiding, and well, look, my dad said if he could have, he would have went to Canada. Because, like, people were dying in Vietnam for nothing. And war is just so horrible. It's people, especially back then. Because remember, the draft isn't a choice. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're just like, you're going. So, it's like some people may be patriotic, but don't have the gall, which is fine, to go fight and kill. Right? And, like, what's another way they can help in that situation, But yeah, no, war is a horrible, horrid thing, and It just it, there's no judgment on that stuff where it's like they're afraid, and then as they said, they aren't afraid, and it's like because it's not a place you go to and come back from. Even if you come back from, my father used to say there were people that went in with him, and when they came out, they were it wasn't even like you were talking to the same person. They didn't have the same positions, and I'm using positions just to, just to relate, but like they didn't have the same thoughts. They didn't have the things that they enjoyed were no longer, like my father loved playing guitar. He was a musician, came home, he didn't want to touch the guitar. Like you sucked out of your whatever, even if you go in wanting it. I know people who fought in during 9/11. They went in, they joined the army, and they came out, and they were a different person. And they wanted to go, they wanted to be there, but war is not. Uncle was in World War II, another horrible war, and hand-to-hand, house-to-house combat in Italy, the worst for sure. Yes. When I asked him, would he do it if his sons were called, he said he would kill them first before. To relate, my father said if we went to go join the military, he would beat the hell out of us. He's like, I would rather cripple you than see you go to war, because you would have better chance at living life having not gone to war than if you were crippled, because he was a crippled from being blown up. But like, I understand what he's saying, because he was a prisoner of his own chaos. Like he couldn't work. And not just because he was blown up, but because, like, it's hard. What is it? They call it the civilian life. But the way he kind of put it, he's like, imagine going to an office job, and your boss is like, hey, we need that paperwork now. And my father's like, I saw my friend's leg get blown off 2 feet from me. This is not an emergency. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, yeah, I guess that makes sense, Dad. I once stubbed my toe in the corner. I know what you mean. To the stub toe of 1907 from Afghani. We salute your sacrifice, good sir. Different person. Completely different person. Break the fingers. You can't use a gun now. Yeah, been there, Tom. I was 7. I didn't know what was happening, as he seemed kind when he was trying to help me. Only worked it out when he stood. Oh my God. Oh, I hear that, and I just wish I could go back in time and beat the crap out of them for you. Oh, Jesus. The evil that people do. The evil. I'm sorry you went through that. I'm sorry that exists in your history. It is not not pleasant. I know the show's about writing, but it's really good to also explore our feelings and our thoughts and our traumas, and it's good to find people we could talk to and feel comfortable and feel the community of that. And even if it was like, these truths, if we're going to relate it to writing, in a sense, it's just these truths can filter through the characters, and maybe it's therapy for us, but it's to have a community like we have right now where we're able to say these things, I think is so important. So important. You can never turn down a hugs. Hugs are so important, Good to hear you laugh, though. Yeah, you gotta laugh. I mean, he did stub his toe. What did I walk into? JK, we were just talking about traumas, and like originally it was to relate to how to connect nuance and emotions through reader immersion. But then we started talking about the wars of our family and all the other crazy stuff. What if the spinning wheel from Sleep created into twin Nightshade following Oracle, where they weave the petal bound? Sounds interesting. Sounds like something to approach. That's a good tagline, right? Boom. There's something to work on. Yeah, right, yeah. Yeah, that is a terrible, terrible, terrible thing to have experienced. And child trauma, and I don't want to sort of limit adult trauma, but again, like my father was 18, 19 when he went to Vietnam, so he's still a kid. He's still technically a teenager. But like when you're like, I wasn't even this was 1988. Oh no, 1987. So I was 9. And like, that it just gets imprinted on you when you deal with something like that. So just like what is the evil in people where they're just like, let me just put this on this kid's existence. It's like it's fucking terrible. Oh, sorry, anyway, it ow. That's that pain. Did that hurt? Did that hurt? I'm asking as curious. Childhood injuries, I can relate. Yes, yes. Almost being kidnapped is a childhood injury that I would say it is. It is definitely a childhood injury. Okay. Stubbing should be an Olympic sport. I'd be a gold medalist. Yeah, yeah. We're The loss is never. It's hard to deal. I'm still dealing. Loss is just grieving, just anything. I've heard that great writers are writers who have suffered greatly. I think what the validity of that statement is, that like, write what you know. We just were talking about it before. Write what you know. Like the emotional truth of what we can explore. Like, if, like for example, having loss, right? If you've dealt with loss and grief, and then you write something that might not have anything to do with grief or loss, but that feeling of grief and loss, having just lost somebody and dealing with that, would be filtered through the art of writing. It would elevate certain things that maybe we weren't perceptive to before we were experiencing that loss. And maybe somebody who had that grief, and 10 or 12 years later, it's still there, and while they're writing something, and maybe it is about loss this time, those feelings, would for sure show themselves. I was just talking to someone yesterday about it, where like, I lost my father a year or two ago, and anytime something happens where like I'd be like, oh, my father would find this funny, it dawns on me that I can't tell him, or in a sense, I can't hear him laugh, and I can't hear him having thoughts about it, and that kind of brings it back, right? So that emotion that's in us is what I think is what helps writers. And I'm not saying for writers to go out there and be like, let's experience grief and pain, and but one of the lessons I heard, especially growing up in the entertainment industry for screenwriting and all that, is like, experience the world. You want to be a better writer? Fall in love, lose love, do something, challenge yourself. That experience is going to give you a sense of what you know. And what you know doesn't have to be identical to what you're writing. It has to just have something deeper in it. My life was so shattered, never knew the word. Oh. I don't even have words for that. It's my heart. My heart's with you, of course. But little boys and dumpsters. I just wish, like, when something bad was happening, like we could, somebody could just appear and just be like, I got this. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think of that stuff sometimes, and I'm just like, I just wish I could just show up. Anyway, that's some hard stuff. My heart's with you. My heart's with you. I love how the comment section is like, and like the verbiage of what's happening. It's It's just a bad comedy timing thing, you know. Like, yeah, my big toe. We're talking about something so deep, and then it's just like, I'm sorry, my brain is my brain completely terrible. Completely terrible what happened. All of my family partners are gone. It's probably why I write about death and the afterlife so much. Flowers, just know I'm so sorry you have to deal. I hope you're not I hope you're not alone though. I hope you're not lonely because you have such great energy. And you just deserve to be surrounded by love and laughter and compassion. But I could understand the eternalness of vampires and like to never that immortality. To push on the side though, the only thing that'd be bad about immortality is like if Earth blew up, you're just stuck in space. Thank you, Tom, Cindy. I choose to not let it take over my life. That is that's wisdom. That's wisdom and strength right there, and it's also good though. You know, it's all right if you have faulty knee moments or cry moments. You know, crying is so important. Feeling is important. I know. I'm just saying that through therapy. Like, you know, it's good to be like this happened, but at the same time, like this isn't like who I am. You know, like my chronic depression isn't who I am. It's something I have, but it's not my personality. It's not, you know, I'm not my sickness or I'm not my mental health and I'm not my whatever the case is, you know, and it's good to acknowledge those things, but also I love that it doesn't take over your life. That's beautiful. This channel's getting pretty dark. I'm going to have to put the sun up. Very harrowing. This is deep, everyone. We're family here. We are for sure. And to be able to talk like this and to, it's just all filled with, I'm assuming you're laughing at the stuck in space. It is nice to have choices, right? It's important, especially when you feel you don't have any. Yeah. Because I'm down with the sickness. I do, but it's only brought on when I hear of it having to others. Oh yeah, because it's that compassion and empathy where you're just like, you want to help people. Just had to suddenly leave. Sorry, work-related issues came up. It's all right, bro. When it got real, you had to go work. No, just kidding. Let's try to get this to a lighter evolution. Let's see what we can do. It's 4 o'clock already? Over by me. All right. Oh, God. What do we got? Ooh! And then more or less not great with his sore toenails popped up. And I missed the drama, not a bargain. Oh, yeah. You want some elephants? Bang, boom, zhang! All right, let's do it. Let's get back. I'm getting all choked up. Explosions. All right. Let's just do it. We're gonna just clean slate. Let's just whew. I don't even want to do the subscribe and the mic right left here stuff, and I had announcements. I don't even want to do that now. I just want to let's look. The week is gonna go by, and we're gonna see each other next weekend, Saturday, Sunday. 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Remember to find your people. Remember to find your community like we are doing here. And I'm just so grateful that we are able to communicate like we did and also be here for one another, not only to learn, but also to laugh and to appreciate one another. It will be a rewind, my sir. Cleanse and smile. I'll do the YouTube thumbnail smile. All right. Thank you for listening to us bleat on. That's a really good word, bleat. I'm sorry, flowers, hugs. I think flowers deserves big hugs from all of us, just like a big group hug. The sun has got his hat on, hip, hip, hooray. Fabulous as always. Yeah, there we go. All right. I hope we learned something today other than a little bit more about ourselves, which we did, and I'm glad we were able to share that. But also, this channel is about helping us feel comfortable with the writing process and learn that it is going to be a journey. I will be emailing you soon. I look forward to it, good sir. Oh, hugs. Group hugs going around. Can't get no hugs. Bow, bow. Thanks for the informative talk. I'm always here to help. I'm always here to answer questions. Haven't forgotten. Thank you for a great lesson. You are welcome. You are welcome. Big hug. All right. I think it's time for me to go maybe take a nap after this. Great hugs. Great, good group hugs. Group hugs. Compassionate hugs, flowers. Don't know why yet. Sorry. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I think hugs are like... A good hug from somebody you care about is one of those things that's so recharging. But I think I can go on a limb and say something else, though. Have you ever gotten a hug from a stranger that just sort of seen, like they just see you and they just know you need the hug, and then they just hold you? Like, I don't know what it is about that kind of hug where you're just having one of those days and they're just like, just bring it in. Let's just do this. And you're just like, you know what? Yeah. And you just hug someone and you're just like, where? How did there was this lovely, amazing human being. I didn't know them, but I was going through my cancer journey and they were going through their cancer journey. And we just happened to be on like a train together. And like, as we got up, we didn't talk the whole train ride, but like we got up and like we went to get out of the train and I stopped and I was like, you go first, you know? And then she like turned around. This is the craziness about like human connection. You know, because like, you know, when you're going through stuff and just like this, but we did not talk. I let her out first. She took a couple steps. She stopped. She turned around. She goes, "Are you going through something?" And I was like, "Are you going through something?" And she's like, "Yeah." And I go, "Me too. I'm dealing with cancer." And she goes, "Me too." And then we just like hugged. Like, it was so like New York City for you. I still remember that moment. And we just held each other. We didn't say anything. We just held each other. We had just held, and you know, it was just a good hug. And then it was a good moment. It was beautiful. And it's just things like that are just so amazing. On a lighter note, my author anniversary. Woo! That's what I'm talking about. Celebration time. Come on. Celebrate. Yeah. I'm proud of you, JK. My cat doesn't even look at me. Those hugs are the best. Just random. Just especially that kind of like connection. Those are also nice. Yeah. Those are the kitty cats. Meow, 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 meow. Always at work, and I give them. We had family whose father chose maid, which I believe I know what that is, and they made sure how special I was taking. Oh yes. Weekend. Oh yeah, because you work in the in that business. Those hugs are worth more than gold. Worth more than gold. It's amazing. That is the way human beings are so for sure. To have that moment with that amazing human being, that woman, like that reminds you like, okay, there's hope. Like something is good. You know, like something I can keep going. And I know there's a good chance I'm going to run into this again. You know, like this is important. And then I woke up. I hope your toe feels better. No. Way to go, JK. Yeah. Woohoo. Celebration time. Go on. is that? Right? It's a medical assistant. Oh yeah, okay, yeah. Boop, 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 boop. That's what I thought it was. I thought it was that. Yeah, during that time, the hugs and the love and the being there, and it's worth more than gold. I saw yesterday your anniversary is nearly upon us, Tom. Ooh. What specific anniversary? Because I have a couple of them. Oh! Yes, I think you're talking about the cancer anniversary. Yeah, right? Because it's on my website, I think, right? Isn't it? Because I celebrate it. I celebrate it. Because, it's, yeah. I celebrate it. The 18th will be there, yeah. Thanks for noticing. Appreciate it. Thank you all celebrating with a book sale on the Kindle version of my book. Excellent. JK, listen. Feel free to put your link in the comments section. Feel free to do that. Celebrate. Let us celebrate with you. What anniversary? Yeah, I thought that's what you were talking about. Yeah, it's on the 18th, 2016, so it'll be 9 years. 9 years cancer-free. They took a little bit of my insides, and I got a little fat from it, but I still got a nice beard, and I got to keep my hair. That was the part that upset most people. Not that I had cancer, but that, how did you keep your hair? How is your hair so thick still? I go, because my story, they found it, and they were like, they just put me right into surgery and was like, we got to take stuff out of you. It was that bad. But yeah. It'd be amazing if we all got together once a year and just be family. It would be amazing. But I think we all live all over the world in different ways. I'm going to be 50 in a couple years. And I'm trying to put together like a 50-year event party. I don't know if it's going to be in New York or where I live currently, but if anyone's willing to travel to the States to celebrate that, the door is always open to people that I have relationships to, that I talk to, through social media and all that stuff, and that I have a closeness to. Yay! I'm still thinking about it, because, it's going to be expensive, because I know there's going to be at least 200 people there, right? Oh, thank you. Yeah, please put your link in there. My bro-in-law celebrates surviving his heart attack. Oh, yeah, no, that's a victory in itself, too. That's a victory, it's like a new life. Technically, I'm 9 years old, right? Because, if we didn't have medical advancements, I would have been done 9 years ago. So it's it's my second life, Oh, yeah. It would be nice. I'm still trying to figure out if I want it in New York City or where I am in the Midwest. I have to figure it out. I have to really figure that out. It might be, actually, that is true. It might be in Italy, because if I could, I am trying to get my citizenship there, because I'm Sicilian, and it has always been a dream of mine to get my citizenship there, because my grandparents are from Italy. But so I still qualify for it, but I have to get certain information to get it through. Italy would be a fun party. If New York, probably, that means you probably live close to New York. The New York. Okay. He's 8 now. 8? I love it. 8 years surviving after that. I'm sure he's changed his diet. I'm sure he's just living the dream. It would be really fun, right? Just going to Italy. Hey, congrats on being, thank you. And also congrats to M's, the heart attack survival. I thought you would technically, my mom would slap me if I said I was Italian. I am Sicilian, as per my mother. We are not Italians. We're Sicilian. We come from the boot. I mean, the ball being kicked by the boot. We're not like those Romans. Or is it the mainlands? We are Sicilians. as if there's really a difference. We're all from Ethiopia, Africa. We're all one people. Like the birth of existence is from the continent. But yeah, we are Sicilians. My father would always be like, technically we're Sicilian, but there's some knobbly down in there, and you know. And also Sicilians have like, again, we're all African, but like if you want to break it up into like, the constructs, we have Syrian in us, we have African in us, we have Spanish from Spain, we have whatever, because the Roman Empire, the people from, and also the Greeks, the Greeks. But Greeks are also not Greek. There are people before the Greeks, just like we got Mongolian. We're all made up of people. Yeah, no, they. We are not Italiano. We are Sicilian. Che fa? State zitta. Aspetta. All right. Un cornetto. Okay. I love that. I'm British Nigerian. See, you get it. We're all from the same place. We just so happen to grow up somewhere else. A lot of us definitely have Genghis Khan genes, because he was like, I conquered you. Also, all the women are mine. I like that Mongolia started as like a little dot and then turned into the known world and then fell into another dot. Like it's on the YouTube, and it's like the history of our worlds through war and conquering, and it shows like the map and like the different countries that existed and then don't exist anymore, and like it starts way back, like it spans thousands of years, and it's just, you just see like the different movements of like, it's so crazy. And one of the interesting things is you see Norway like take over England and Ireland and Scotland, and then like they take it back from the Norwegians, and then like Britain takes over. Like you just see like that area just changing throughout the thousands of years until it's like Britain. And but it's like that with everything. Like it's like even Italy is taken over by this, and then it's not, and then like the Roman Empire, and then like the Gauls, and like it's just like, who are we? We're all just people. We're all just existence, and like it's all like the borders are all technically whatever. I could go on forever with that stuff. I'm vegetable soup. I'm sure you're a tasty vegetable soup, and not the yucky vegetables, the good vegetables. Oh, and I posted a links for my books up above. Did it go in? If it didn't go in, JK, go to my website. Go to my website when you get a chance, which is this makearightleftheere.com, and email me, okay? And then when you email me, give me your website or your book stuff, your information, and I'll put it into the descriptions of my videos. I'll put you a part of the author list. If I have it, then I could do that. So I'm always here to help support the community in any way I can. It goes for anyone, really. If you just email me and say, hey, this is my website, I pop it on there. But I don't just do it for anybody. It's the people that I see all the time, because it's like we're supporting one another. It's community, it's growth, and it's love, right? But if it's just somebody that pops up and goes, hey, I saw your show once in 1701, could you share my stuff? We're like, did you follow everybody else that's on that list? Did you support the other channels? Did you, like it's all right. Where am I? I'm 1% Arab and 90% Welsh, and apparently 9% mongrel. Arab. When I lived in Brooklyn, I was trying to learn how to speak to my Arab friends, but I don't believe anything they taught me was accurately what they were teaching me, so I'm not even going to repeat any of it. I just heard someone wants to get together once a year. I might not be able to make that right together. It's we were just making light conversation. Hannah Hart, my friend. Veggie soup. I'm Scottish English. Flowers, you're Scottish English vampire. Okay, we got to make sure you got to put that vampire in there, all right? Scottish English vampire. Ooh. That's funny. So interesting that we all come from different areas of the world. Yeah, different areas, different cultures. I was just talking to someone the other day about like I'm Italian. My parents, well, all right. So my grandparents were born and had a couple of years in Italy, right? So they have like that Sicilian culture. And then they moved to Queens and Brooklyn, respectively. And my parents were born, and they grew up in New York with Italian culture, but it's New York Italian culture now. And then when they got older, my parents, both of them, were told not to learn Italian because my grandparents had a hard time getting work because they couldn't speak English. So that was the new culture, is like, don't just learn English. And then I was born, and my parents didn't necessarily bestow upon me the same cultures they grew up with. So I had like a Long Island, Brooklyn, Queens, Italian culture, right? And that's what we were talking about. It's like our heritage is different than the cultures, and our culture is always evolving. Our culture is always bringing in the beauty of what surrounds us. And I think the evolution of humankind really comes together when we start embracing those kind of cultural truths. Not cultures we don't like. You know, obviously, I've never experienced the culture of any continent, any place in Asia, right? So like, I wouldn't understand that. But if somebody from Asia grew up around me for years, and there were things about them and things about me, and we started sharing food, and we started sharing. I went to weddings for them, and they went to like if the culture was built that way, like it's so pure in that sense, you know, like that would be a different, but those would be developing a different culture. And I think that brings people together in such a beautiful, that's why I really loved New York. It was just so, there's so many, like, again, I had Arab friends, I had friends from India, I had I had Asian friends, I had everybody you could think of. And not just like they were born in America, and I'm talking about people who came from these different areas, and they, building lives here, and it was beautiful. I'm RH negative. I love that for us. Oh, the community. I'm assuming the community thing, or what I'm talking about is that we're all one people. I'm old. I'm ancient too. You know. My first anniversary is next month on my mom's birthday. She would be horrified. Oh, your first as a vampire? Your first anniversary as a vampire? You are welcome. Yeah, please email me, please. Well, you can celebrate both occasions. Yes, celebrate it all. Upset my mam she's Irish. Too many Twinkies. Twinkies will do it to you. All right. I think it's time. All right, everybody. Listen, if you're out there and you want to go to Make a Right Left Here and you have a website or you have a link to like a Amazon book or something like that, just email it to me. And tell me what your username is, if you know, in the email, so I can attach it to whatever email, so I know who it is, and I can put a face, I can put an icon to it, and I'll be happy to add what I can to the descriptions in the videos, and also, you know, you're not going to be able to get into this book, but I show this for anyone who doesn't know. I do share you know, I have my friends' links. You know, I put my friends' links in my books. And also in the ebook, there's actually a usable link. So I'm always happy to just push everybody, especially when they support the community and when they support one another. So feel free to just go to makearightlefthehere.com and email me that information. And when I get a time, I will start putting it in newer videos. And as I start updating the older videos, it'll definitely go up there. By the way, if you are an author, I also am booking the next podcast season. So I need to get 7 more episodes recorded to get to 10. So you could also email me, makearightleftheere.com. So if you're going to send me your links or anything and you're interested in being interviewed on the Make a Right Left Here podcast, feel free to also mention that inside the email, and we'll try to make it work. It's all pre-recorded, so we can schedule it whenever. So I might as well just put that out there as well. All right. Where did I miss? The Twinkies. Too many Twinkies. It's not bedtime. I got to eat something and maybe take a nap while I'm eating. Just contact you from email. Just put the universal link. Perfect. I'll take care of that. Thank you, JK. I will have soon. Oh, your website and everything. Yes, please. Talk to you later. Yes, Ro, please. I don't know my original origins or culture, but according to my sister, she said that we're part Cherokee and I don't want to say this wrong, but Owaboho. Please forgive me if I said that incorrectly in any such way. Hey. Sending you all loves and hugs. See ya. Yeah. We're about to say goodbye. Just contact you. Oh, cool. There's a story or two there, Hannah. All right, everybody, let's do it. Thank you so much for celebrating this time with me. 2.5 hours of love, education, exploration of one another. And as always, I am Thomas J. Bellezza. And keep developing the right mindset. I'll see you next time. Bye. Yeah.